I'm the Geodude, and we're digging for the truth. This is the first episode, and I thought I'd talk about a franchise I love so much, Jurassic Park. Now, just like in real life, we have to start with the book first, even if the movie is better. So, hold on to your butts, because this is going to be a multi-part series. But, let's begin before the beginning. Michael Crichton was a medical doctor, but one day he was all like, "This doctoring thing's so expensive, I better write something." He wrote some great books, like The Andromeda Strand, The Terminal Man, Eaters of the Dead, Sphere, Congo, and The Great Train Robbery. Some of those books were adapted into movies, and Michael Crichton even wrote and directed some movies like Coma and Westworld. HBO is actually remaking this into a TV series. It's basically Jurassic Park, but with robots. Enough said. He even made this TV show called ER, maybe you've heard of it. So it's no wonder that everybody wanted the movie rights to this book, even before the book was released. You had 4 major studios wanting to get the rights. Warner Brothers had Tim Burton, Columbia had Richard Donner, Fox had Joe Dante, and Universal had Steven Spielberg. Spielberg was not actively seeking this role. Not to say he didn't love the project, far from it. It's just that after his movie Hook was wrapped up, he wanted to work on his movie Schindler's List. Spielberg was set to go to film in Europe, but the studio said that his name was a big selling point for getting the movie rights, because he and Crichton were friends. James Cameron even said that he was this close to being the director. He said in interviews that his movie would have been closer to the book, rated R, but not nearly as good. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I would love to go to an alternate universe where those movies were made. But is this book really worth over $1.5 million that Michael Crichton demanded for the movie rights even before the book was released? Let's find out. Is he talking about me? Our introduction is called the InGen Incident, and it's pretty effective. It tells us in only a few pages what Michael Crichton wants you to take away from this book, that science is starting to get out of hand. With all this newfangled biotechnology going on, it's no wonder that no one batted an eyelid when InGen was the 3rd biotech company to file for Chapter 11 in 1989. Just like the X-Files, both stories claim that the following events are true.
And by true, I mean false.
I'm just hoping that future archaeologists don't think this actually happened. Parties to that settlement, including the Distinguished Scientific Board of Advisors, signed a non-disclosure agreement, but many of the principal figures of the InGen incident are not signatories, and were willing to discuss the remarkable events. We're going to be jumping into some spoilers early here, but who did they interview? We know Grant and Sattler signed. We know Malcolm signs because of the sequel. We know all employees signed before working on the island. So the only people they could have interviewed would be people not working for InGen and the kids. But how do we know about the things that happened on the island that the kids didn't see? We begin in Bahia Nasco in Costa Rica, where an American doctor and a paramedic are bored in their small hospital clinic until a helicopter with logo InGen makes an emergency landing outside, and a white man in a business suit with a Mets baseball cap yells for a doctor. Now that's a trustworthy guy. But seriously, you couldn't hire a doctor for your island?
At no expense.
There was no dirt in the wound, and there was no crushed bones indicating an earth mover accident. But there was a large slash to the chest and some messed up hands, which would indicate an atom mauling. This is where Michael Crichton really takes off. He's best at his medical mysteries, and having the book open with the doctor being told a lie and having to figure out what the truth is fantastic, because Michael Crichton was, of course, a doctor before writing novels. The doctor tells the Mets guy to wait outside while she tries to help the man. The man starts saying, "Raptor! Velociraptor!" And Manuel doesn't know what it means, and says it's not Spanish. That's fine. Just take a lighter in front of his face.
Gojira. Gojira.
But when the man says raptor again, Manuel says, "Oh, he's talking about the Hupia. He beat him." How do you know he's talking about the Hupia? You just said it wasn't Spanish, and you didn't understand it. By the way, Hupia are said to be night ghosts, faceless vampires who kidnap small children. So basically Slenderman. Manuel starts getting superstitious and prevents the doctor from doing her job, which causes the man to go into convulsions and die. Great assistant. Fantastic. But don't worry. The body's taken away by InGen personnel and the camera's mysteriously gone, so there's no evidence of wrongdoing. I'm glad that in the movie we get to see the raptor attack from a different perspective. Everybody turn to your own book and look at the first iteration. This book has chapters, but they aren't numbered. Instead, it has 7 iterations. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this kind of stuff because I don't do maths. But there is an image with each iteration, and as the book progresses, the image becomes more complex, because the image from the previous iteration is repeating itself over and over again to make a fractal. With each iteration, we get a quote from me and Malcolm about the curve, but I'll save what I have to say about him for later. We already had an alternate version of the opening of the first movie, so let's have an alternate version of the opening of the second movie. On a remote beach in Costa Rica, we meet a vacationing couple and their daughter Tina. When the mother yells for Tina to come back, the husband tells the mother that there's nothing to worry about. As we all know, nothing bad ever happens on a beach. Tina finds some bird prints on the ground and follows them to a strange green lizard, but this lizard has a long neck, 3 toes like a bird, and stands on its hind legs. The animal seems tame to Tina, so she sticks her hand out to try to pet the creature, and the creature proceeds to jump on the hand and then bite mercilessly. Basically a cat. Romans took Tina to a hospital because her arm was in horrible pain and burning red. Their doctor informs them that the lizard was not actually venomous, but that Tina was experiencing an allergic reaction, and just like 14% of the world's population, Tina was allergic to reptile saliva. To figure out what kind of species of lizard this was, the doctor calls Dr. Gutierrez, a biologist who takes one look at Tina's drawing of her lizard and concludes that it must be a basilisk lizard. The basilisk lizard is a Central American genus of lizard that can run on its hind legs from predators. It's so fast that it can run on still water, giving it the name Jesus Christ lizard. But remember, it runs on its hind legs. It doesn't hop or stand on them. The next day, Dr. Gutierrez says goodbye to the Bowmans as they're discharged, but during their conversation, Dr. Gutierrez suspects that maybe this is a new species of lizard. Meanwhile, we see a midwife open a door to a nursery only to have lizards chirping at her. Well, the lizards actually ate a baby. Oh wow, that's really dark. It's a dark joke. Got something to cheer me up? There you go. Word of children and elderly getting bitten by a new species of lizard makes its way to Gutierrez, who is concerned about the possibility of a new disease. So he visits the beach that Tina was bitten at and sees a howler monkey eating a lizard.
Monkey!
The doctor shoots the monkey with a tranq dart and takes the leg for examination. The leg was shipped to a lab in New York City. While the lab couldn't identify the species, they did do tests for diseases, which all came back negative. The leg was to remain in New York City, but a lab technician named Alice Levine takes one look at Tina's drawing. Aww, this kid drew the dinosaur. It sucks. Will she find somebody that believes her story? Let's find out next time. I'm the Geodude, and you've been listening to the first part of infinite parts of the Jurassic Park Let's Read. I'll see you next time.